I think it's really two big things. First thing is shout out to FD Signifier and Deante Kyle. Both use content is extremely engaging, and it makes niggas like me think about things on a deeper level. And oftentimes it connects me to information I might not have, because I'm not like, I am becoming older, but I still haven't been around longer than 28 years. So it's just some shit I just literally don't fucking know, or I haven't had access to due to my fucked up ass family situation, if you can even call it that. So without further ado, let's start with the first situation. FD Signifier put out an incredible video about Diddy, about how bad the Diddy situation actually is in perpetuity. I had absolutely no idea that this nigga got a 17-year-old pregnant at one point and forced her to have an abortion. I had no idea the specific timeline from Biggie and Tupac's death to him. He literally was Drake before Drake, and I'm sure there's been countless others that have followed the same pattern, but releasing completely unoriginal content, played over beats, rhythms, melodies, samples, whatever, of songs that were already big hits, and not genuinely adding anything to them, and reaping the benefits of nefarious ass behavior. And again, I'm like going fast through all of this because I don't want to be what I would call it, overly analytical, as I tend to be. Excuse me, holy shit. This whole thing in regards to him having to settle out of court with Cassie, and him finally hopefully getting what's fucking coming to him for being a monster his entire life, basically, all started when he decided the same way in which he was taking advantage of the artist that he had signed when he sued this tequila company or whatever the fuck it was. They were like, oh, we're gonna have to drag them skeletons out the closet. So here goes him being a monster towards Cassie, and I hope that like he gets what's fucking coming to him. I wish we lived in a world where they didn't just make like sacrificial lambs. I wish that like all the people involved in this shit were actually held accountable and punished for it, but we know that's usually not how it works. FD Signifier made a really good point where he said every time one of these high profile people gets arrested, like the great fallout that people like talk about and whisper about on social media never happens. And that really made me think that all the hoopla, he is probably just gonna end up going down, and outside of that we're gonna be left to acting like, oh, the world is a more just place because one fucking person that was nothing more than a ignorant, pompous brat that somehow thought that like operating in a white man's space gave him white privilege, and it fucking doesn't. He's a monster. Fuck Diddy. All right, on to our second thing. Again, Deante Kyle. If you have not watched the Grits and Eggs podcast, stop what you're doing and go do that. Secondly, specifically in regards to that, the most recent episode, I think it says, I don't even know exact title, but basically it's talking about putting a whole lot of ambiguity in the streets. And he starts out on fucking fire, right? He addresses the Travis Hunter situation. I completely agree with them. I've already had my issues with some of Travis Hunter's other comments about NIL and the type of money that other athletes are willing to take and blah, blah, blah. It's like, bro, people were losing their whole livelihoods for even like taking anything not that long ago. So hearing like these individuals that are like not hurting for jack shit anymore chop down on people that are like trying to like change their family's realities, something that should have like literally already been a fucking thing from the inception of the NCAA, but we already know how that shit goes. It's literally just another iteration of chattel slavery. And if I fucking say it wrong, I don't care. It's English, I can say shit however I want to say it, so anyway, I don't know why he's with the bird that he's with, but that's what she is. She is a bird. Yeah. So I really hope that he wakes up and smells the coffee one day before we're seeing him on ESPN and these massive divorce proceedings, and she's blaming him for blah, yada, 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 you. So, that was dope. And then the part that like really, really, really hit for me, I am a black man with a black father and a white mother. And in that, there have obviously been a number of different nuances that directly connect to my life, right? And those are things that in the same way I would never fully understand what a chocolate complected person or a darker caramel person might be experiencing. I'm not the type of person to pretend that I fully understand anyone else's experience but my own. I can be empathetic, I can be supportive, but I can't nor will I pretend to understand something or experience something that I haven't. And that's why solidarity to me is important. We got to empathize with each other, and we have to be willing to have conversations and have understanding for the things that each of us are facing within the world we live in. All of that said, he said specifically, Deante Kyle, that motherfuckers talk about hating light skins, but all they do is create more of us. And I said, I've never thought about it like that before a day in my life, but it's the fucking truth. You hate yourself so much, you don't want to wake up in the morning and see a reflection of yourself or of your values next to you. So you go and you find some other shit. FD Signifier was also, going back to him really quickly, some crazy ex-Black Panther was probably a fucking fed, was basically saying until black men can enjoy white women in their beds, they're not free. And I just was like, what? Nigga, what? The raisins and the potato salad, is that deep for you, brother? All right. Whatever you fucking say. Yeah, crazy work as far as I'm concerned. Super crazy work. So that was a really interesting thought process to me. Something I've never thought about, but I also deeply agree with. I've not met really, I do not think that a person, specifically when we're talking about coming from any of the ethnicities of being black, any of the ethnicities of being white, I do not genuinely believe that two so diametrically opposed organisms, unless there are massive negative compromises made, that is a healthy pairing. My lived experience informs me in such a way. If you disagree with that, I really don't fucking care. I genuinely don't, because I'm not finna argue with you. Shit is trash. We should be trying to get back to the bloodline, not white it out in 2 to 3 because your goofy ass is not comfortable around black people because you're lighter complected. Tighten up, nigga. That's all I can really say about that. Then to take it a step further, one of the things that Deante spoke about, which is something I intend to do once I get into this next apartment that I currently have mapped out, is venerating your ancestors. I think Abrahamic religions have us in a chokehold, and as a practicing Muslim, I tell people this all the time, and I've been telling them for 6 years now. I did not trade the bondage of Christianity for the bondage of Islam, and a lot of people are probably going to be confused as to what the fuck that means. But for me, what it means is, if I do not personally agree with something, I'm not fucking doing it. Okay? I'm not. No, the things my ancestors did are not going to send them to hell. There's just lots of shit that, like, people are like, oh, religion! And what if the religion is saying, like, super anti-black shit? What if it's, like, you know, saying things your ancestors did long before these set ideas came to be, or, you know, hellbound? Sorry, buddy. Can't do it. My ancestors understood things on a much deeper level than a lot of different people, and a lot of time I think we like to, like, extrapolate religions and things from the times and the ethnicities and the people and the fucking ignorance that oftentimes they're very, very deeply steeped in. Like, just quick ting, you know, at least in Christianity anyway. Fucking Noah cursed one of his sons' descendants to have dark skin, and that was supposed to be like an excuse for slavery. So if that actually happened, again, me not agree with that, so me not sit there and act like me do. Okay? Yeah, no sir. No sir. But again, one of the things that he and Big Cat were both talking about is how if we understand in the same way that, like, within Christianity, the blood of Jesus, quote unquote, is supposed to be this liberating force, why don't we like have the same perspective towards our own genetics and the people in our bloodline that quite literally died so that we could exist in the way we exist today? You know what I'm saying? Like, I think a lot of the time we get really distracted with all the things going on in the world and like our day-to-day things that capitalism puts on us. And I think it's just really important for us to like really sit with and do what we can to learn about who we are and why we are. I genuinely believe, like deeply believe in the phrase, it's not on you, it's in you. Because like there's so many things as I get older and as I get more information about the people that are in my lineage, specifically the black people, the niggas, I don't give a fuck about them white people, that it's just, I think it's deeply important to make sure that we do all we can to understand who we are, from whence we come, because when we do that, like a way forward, specifically when it comes to freedom, specifically when it comes to walking in purpose, I feel like that becomes so much easier. So I just encourage all of us, like, be yourself, love yourself, understand yourself, and do that first and foremost, because at the end of the day, nobody got you but you. So anywho, y'all know the fucking drill. Peace, love, power, Pan-Africanism. Bullet.